You know, I can't remember really in recent NBA history where a team that wasn't attacked by a majority of injuries or lost a significant amount of players in free agency be completely forgotten about by fans and media alike coming in the next season as defending champions. That's seemingly what we all did to the Milwaukee Bucks, which is very weird in my mind. They have what I consider the best player in the NBA in Giannis. They retain a majority of their championship roster, with their only notable losses being PJ Tucker. And the only real big injury this year was Brook Lopez, who's already back and making notable contributions and knocking off some of the rust that he got missing majority of the season. So why do people truly not think of the Bucks when they talk about the main championship contenders this season? Well, it could be partially because a lot of people don't really see them as true champions. If you ask some people, the Bucks really wouldn't be in the finals if it was a true NBA season last year. Kevin Durant was virtually a toe away from sending that team home without what people considered the second to third best player on that team in Kyrie Irving for majority of the series, and they really didn't play the best competition in the conference finals or the NBA finals, with the Western Conference suffering a bunch of injuries and the Phoenix Suns being a team that a lot of people didn't think should be in the NBA finals that year. So without saying it, I do think a lot of people have a small asterisk next to that championship, which is completely unfair to the Milwaukee Bucks. They played who was in front of them and they won. So you can't really take that away from them. But coming to this year, without really separating themselves from the pack that much and their team virtually being the same, I think a lot of people just gloss over them in the standing as, yeah, they're there, but you don't really see them as big contenders. But without really separating themselves from the pack, the Milwaukee Bucks have not only been better than they were last year, I still think they're the best team in the Eastern Conference, and I do think they are the favorites to make it out of the Eastern Conference to the NBA Finals again. And I'll tell you why. Now, this season, the Milwaukee Bucks have been missing for a majority of the year a key piece to not only their defense, but their offense, and that is the man in the middle, Brook Lopez, who's not only the perfect center for Giannis because he's a stretch five, he's also an amazing rim protector and one of the best drop set coverage centers in the NBA. And right now in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks are slated to play two teams in the NBA playoffs that Brook Lopez will be key against, and that is the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. As of right now, in the 4 games the Milwaukee Bucks played against the Miami Heat, they've gone 2-2. And while the Miami Heat is a lot better than they were last season, so I don't think you'll be seeing any more 4-0 sweeps, I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks really fear that team at all. They handled them relatively easy last year, and to be honest, their two biggest stars in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler really haven't made any stream additions to their game to be any better than what Brook Lopez handled last year, and he was the key piece to handling that defense the entire series, laying off Bam Adebayo in the pick and roll, giving him mirrors jumpers and not letting him get anywhere near the rim to get in rhythm, and also doing the same thing to Jimmy Butler while also not fouling to put him in rhythm at the free throw line. So overall, the biggest thing the Milwaukee Bucks I think will probably have to worry about going through that series would be Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is the engine that makes that team move this season. He's the floor general, and he can put guys in positions that can make them successful. Tyler Hero has been one of the best scorers in the NBA while coming off the bench, and in the last game they played, Tyler Hero was the catalyst that almost took that game away from the Bucks if it wasn't for a late game run that the Bucks went on. That being said, I don't see Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero being the two catalysts that really takes the Milwaukee Bucks out completely. And while I do think the Miami Heat are better equipped to handle the Bucks this year, and that series can go either way, I do think the Bucks are still the slightly better team and can come out of that series pretty unscathed within 6 to 7 games. Then you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, who as a team is very new, and I don't think they have the cohesion to really play against a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, who are in their second iteration of this specific team and are very cohesive, know how each other plays, and can very much play off each other way better than the Philadelphia 76ers can at this very moment. And right now, Brook Lopez has been a great defender on Joel Embiid. While I don't think there's a single player in this league that can truly stop Joel Embiid one-on-one, because at some point you're either going to foul him, or if you don't foul him, he will get whatever he wants in the lane or in the mid-range. Brook Lopez is the perfect guy that is too strong for Embiid to back down and bully, but also too long for him to shoot over comfortably. So overall, I do not see that team as that big of a problem for the Milwaukee Bucks going in. As of right now, I don't know how Jrue Holiday has not been an all-star this year. 18.6 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6.8 assists, 1.6 steals on 51% shooting, 41% from 3 and 76% from the line with all NBA defense. I can argue that he's the second best player in the Bucks, not Chris Middleton. But this year, Jrue Holiday has proven why he's the perfect Swiss Army knife for any single team. He just plugs in with any NBA star or any pair of stars like a puzzle piece. He brings to the team a dynamic level of play that also brings a level of calmness over the entire offense. You can't really focus in on any single guy in this team. You can't focus on Chris or Giannis completely because Jrue Holiday can burn you by himself. As of right now, his on-off numbers with either one of these stars has been amazing. So far this year, he's played 390 minutes without both Giannis and Chris on the floor, and at per 75, he's averaged 32 points per game and 9.6 assists. With Giannis and Chris on the floor, he's averaged 15.2 points and 5.9 assists, with them being the focal point of the offense, but still being incredibly efficient. Overall, he's been the perfect player for this team. And as of right now, he's the perfect defender in a pick and roll with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez can focus on being a drop cover center instead of having to switch out onto any perimeter player, because Kevin Durant completely abused that the entire series last time. But Jrue Holiday is a guy that only fights over screens, but he allows not only Giannis to be the perfect help defender that he is, probably the greatest help defender of all time, but he's a guy that you can plug in on any true perimeter player like Jimmy Butler, James Harden, or Devin Booker, and you know he can definitely give them trouble while also being very productive on the offensive end. In a season where the Milwaukee Bucks haven't really seen a big drop off on the offensive or defensive end, even though they're missing a large part of their lineup in Brook Lopez, it's because of one man and one man only, and that's Bobby Portis, who is this season having a career year at 14.6 points, 9.1 rebounds, 1.2 assists, almost a steal in the blocky game on 48% shooting and 40% from 3 on double the attempts he took last year. This year, Bobby Portis has really stepped in a role and really stepped up in Brook Lopez's absence to be that guy in the pick and roll to defend the rim for this team with Giannis next to him. And while he isn't the rim protector that Brook Lopez is, Mike Budenholzer has been able to really tweak this team's defensive scheme to really help fit him in. He's been the perfect switch man in the pick and roll onto guards, forwards, or centers this year. He knows how to move his feet a lot better than Brook Lopez. He's smaller than Brook Lopez. They tweaked the defensive scheme a little bit so that it is switch coverage instead of drop coverage with him in the lineup. And with the Milwaukee Bucks learning to finally shorten up their rotation going into playoff time, a lineup of their starters being Jrue Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez, and then Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, and Grayson Allen coming off the bench, this team will be extremely dangerous going to playoff time, and I can't wait to see how well they play. And obviously I didn't talk about the two biggest pieces being Giannis and Chris Middleton, but I don't really think I need to. It's a given. Two all-stars, great players, the key players for the Bucks this season, and key players for any single championship run they will go on, and you can expect very much production from them. It's really just the guys around them to perform that you really need for this team to be cohesive and great in the playoffs. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this Milwaukee Bucks team can repeat as NBA champions? Do you think they're better than they are last year? But with that being said, this is FLB, that's my time, and I'm out.